into Facebook and Instagram, but we are here with Mrs. Cookie Bahr, and she has a fabulous wall of garments.
Good way.
Today is going to be fun because we have so much fun with Cookie, and we can't wait for y'all to learn more about her multitasker, how she got there, and really everything. What we want to know it all. So
yeah, we have a little history book with us too.
That's right.
Isn't that neat?
Y'all join the fun with us and Farmhouse Fabrics and Cookie Bahr.
All right. Okay, Cookie.
Yes, ma'am.
Shoulders together here.
Okay.
Let's see.
I can do that.
You know what? With Cookie, I don't have to stand on my book. You know, I stand on this book when I'm with
Oh
Kristen.
no, I'm
This
kind of a
this
short
is
little
my-
thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So Cookie has been a longtime friend of ours, and maybe at least 10 years.
At least 10.
At least 10 years because she's been shopping with us and coming to classes here and helping us pick out fabrics for
heaven,
projects.
yes.
And
She's so good at that.
yes. And so she is a total delight. I was thinking of all the adjectives about Cookie that I thought I need to make a list because first of all, she's so much fun. She's so smart. She's so creative. She's so talented. Yeah.
She's humble. Look at that humility over there.
I know. I mean,
Sally is
I
so
had a list
kind.
This long.
I paid her to say all these things.
So Cookie's background really is in science. She's a microbiologist. And we were just saying, Kristen and Cookie and I were talking about how it's so interesting to see all the people with a math background or a science background that have gotten into pattern designing and
Pattern design, taking a pattern, all kinds of alterations. Pattern drafting, I enjoy that, which can be aggravating for some, but I really enjoy it.
So you've taken classes from a lot of the best teachers in the whole world.
I have.
And
starting here at Farmhouse, my very first class was with Gail Doan. Hello, Gail. Hope you're watching. And it was in Gail's class that I realized I was going to be.
You do have a Gail outfit.
Can we
right
see this
here.
one?
We can bring it. Let's bring it forward.
All right. Yes.
What did you learn with Gail?
This was my nemesis. A friend helped me with the embroidery because as much as I enjoy construction, not so much on smocking and embroidery, but I do enjoy it just a wee bit. What I learned from this class was if it doesn't say beginners and you're a beginner sewing, don't sign up for it. I would say this was definitely advanced. It's one of the most well-constructed garments I've ever made.
Wow.
I just can't say enough nice things about it. I must confess that here we were supposed to pull threads to do our tucked hem. I was sitting in the back of the class for a reason. And I may have
rebellious.
I am rebellious. I probably did pull one thread for some of these, but then snuck home, drew lines, and did the rest. Sorry. But
Sorry, Gail.
That's right. Sorry, Gail. But it's absolutely stunning. This was my granddaughter's Easter outfit one year.
And this is a voile.
This is Swiss voile.
voile.
This was my class here. Everything just gorgeous. I can't say enough nice things about it.
And when Gail puts a kit together, it's very well done.
It is well done. And I appreciate that because when I'm at home and I'm sewing, especially bags, I find that I take breaks and go dig around in my closet to find other things that might coordinate. And this is so much easier. Yes,
I mean,
it really
all
is.
the parts and pieces, and they're all labeled. You can buy a kit or a class from Gail and know that you're getting just top-notch quality. Yeah.
So you said something about that being one of the first. Was that one of the first garments you've made? Or had you been into garment sewing before that?
I had not really been into garment sewing. I made 2 dresses with my ex-mother-in-law in Clinton, South Carolina for my daughter to be in the Little Miss Clinton pageant. They were 2 Betsy McCall patterns.
Oh my goodness.
One dress was Blue Betty's that had the little white insert up here. Yes, I did all the embroidery. And the other one was solid white.
Well, you sure do take on a big project.
I do. Nothing
Yeah.
small. And it had peach embroidered on it. So I did that, stopped forever, and then was blessed with a granddaughter. So I started sewing again. And this time did some very simple jumpers. Even more simple than, say, perhaps a Lillian. And I did everything that I could of those. They were appliqued, kind of did some patchwork fabric and then made it. put a Madeira hem on it, used elastic, used ruffles. Yes, I made that dress 12 different ways. So that was really my first foray.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but because we pointed to the Children's Corner Lillian, I think it's kind of fun that she has 3 versions of the Children's Corner Lillian pattern.
This is the first one. She is falling apart, as you can see. This was for my oldest granddaughter.
And I know she's made Lillian many times.
Yes.
Really...
So here we are with Lillian. I actually went to Children's Corner and took some classes. Loved it. Enjoyed it. Highly recommend it if they're back in the classes. And I think they too are doing the live presentation as this. This is the second iteration of Lillian that I own. Okay. And now I've got the shocker for you. This is the third iteration, and it is completely different than these two. These two are very simple and they are lined. I'm not going to say that this one isn't simple, but instead of the lining being attached to the dress fabric, it's actually free. You hem them both separately, and you have a self fold for the backing on the back on both sides. So that was a little different. And of course, I couldn't just do it like the pattern. I did use.
Now y'all know why we love Cookie.
Yeah, that's right.
So I went for the overlay, and this is a blog that they have that you can use. This is piqué. This is very vintage farmhouse fabrics. Fabric.
I love that.
Yes. It's kind of a 60s, 70s look, and I like it for this style, for this shift dress. So here's your piping. You make this part, and you actually top stitch it right onto the fabric, and then you cut the fabric out from underneath it. Very simple.
Neat.
It's a nice trick. One thing that I always have to remind myself, if I'm going to do white, I need to make sure I have an interfacing.
Right.
Because if not, you'll get some bleed through, even though she's lined in white. But me, I love piping. Use it everywhere. You're going to see it on my bags, on all the clothes.
Pockets.
On the pockets. I kind of mirror imaged here to here. But I also piped the neckline. And because they did do this fancy new back,
you had to put your brain in action.
I did.
I love this because we talked about this with the Jilly Atlanta pattern, and I did not know that the newest Lillian pattern did the same method. So yeah, I love this.
I had to stop the piping much earlier than I would have in the older pattern, because you would have just taken it all the way to where you were going to stitch your lining and your fabric together. She has no buttons yet. I'm here shopping for buttons as always.
We have a lot of dresses with no buttons.
Yes.
So that makes me want to say, because you've mirrored the neckline to the pockets, and you have the flowers on your pockets. I feel like you are a master of fussy cuts.
Okay.
Well, I definitely do a lot of fussy cutting.
You definitely planned these flowers
in
the pockets.
I did.
You? That's cute.
And I feel like that is so huge in the way your bags turn out and how pretty they are.
Yeah.
Some turn out better than others because they behave. Sometimes you absolutely slip and you cut something too small. And in my world, that's known as an opportunity for a design change. I actually have had pockets. I'm going to pull this girl out for a second. This pocket here. I have what I call exploding pockets now, because I've determined that I like this border. So I will actually pull my pocket apart and I'll add different colors to the sides. And obviously I wasn't in a piping mood this day, or you would see some piping here.
And I feel like they should know that this is actually an old girl.
This girl is, I'm thinking she's at least 12 years old, guys and gals.
Know it.
So there's actually on here, there's a separating zipper closure. And so that it can be, but look at that interfacing on it. I mean, we're kind of jumping all over the place, but this is so amazing.
And it's so Cookie.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Cookie has made most of us here that have children or grandchildren.
Yes.
A diaper bag for our babies. And she made one for Ella.
I did.
And Ella is 9.5 years old. And it's still in this perfect condition, and she uses it for a like an overnight bag.
Yes.
Well, and those with babies know how not kind you are to diaper bags.
Right.
No.
You're always
throwing
grabbing,
around,
throwing everything in, jerking over your shoulder.
And they all have lasted the test of time.
Yeah.
And this one's been dragged around to sewing retreats, to classes. She's usually found in the floor somewhere, full of stuff, mostly fabric from farmhouse when I'm over here. This was the fancy bow. It's ruffled up It's quite large. And this was my first go round making this little thing. And it was part of a video that Kay Whitt had that you had to look it up and then you would print it. So I've done quite a few of these. Other things that I have done, I think Sally had some beautiful Liberty of London fabric, and there were animals on it. I can't remember what it was called, probably safari. I made a diaper bag for a friend out of that, and we used it and blue linen. And because it was for a boy, instead of doing anything like this, we found animal buttons and we sewed animal buttons across the band.
Well, you know, people want to see the inside of your bag.
Okay.
So y'all want to go to the overhead and we'll show them all the lovely details.
Make sure I'm not ugly in here.
We got some bag fans here. Gail Hunter said she's made many diaper bags.
All right.
Can you see it? There we go.
Yeah.
And we'll turn it toward Instagram camera in just a second. But
and what you get in here, guys, is you have interior pockets. There we go. Now I can see it. You have interior pockets. You can make them any size you want them to be. All right. What I typically do, and that's me being a scientist using the word typically. Sorry. we reserve that for the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Typically, we do it this way. However, on this day, we had an inadvertent accident. That's all science terms. Let's see over here. Oh, we're back up.
No, the inside is as pretty as the outside.
I have a key fob on this one, which I don't put in them anymore because no one uses them. But what I do now is I make sure that one of these pockets is large enough for your iPhone and that the other is large enough for a pen or pencil. And then we kind of mess them around just a little bit.
That little key fob. Oh, here it is. Little key fob right here.
So you have resized pockets to fit.
I have resized pocket, yes.
So what is this pattern?
This pattern happens to be the Multitasker Bag. You guys are going to like this. I've got 5,000 pages of notes in here.
Okay, flip it around.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, guys.
So the notes are awesome because they have come out to this perfected bag.
Here, we're in the center there. So this is the Multitasker Bag. This is it. I bought this kit for the pink, orange, and white bag at the Martha Pullen School of Art Fashion. And the book, So Serendipity Bags, came with the kit.
So we are putting a link to Amazon because they have this book listed on Amazon, and Emma's going to put a link to that so you can find it. But I'm going to hold it up so that on Instagram you can see what the cover looks like.
So you have made interfacing changes. You have constructed. What have you done to make this so awesome?
What I have done, I have changed the size of the square or rectangular rings. As you can see, this doesn't fit, so it moves around. And Sally actually ordered these for me at one point because we were doing bags quite a bit. We now have rings that are smaller.
Oh, so it probably makes it last longer.
It does. It doesn't move around so much. I have changed the size of this piece here. I still do it with what I call kind of railroad tracks because it is just really sturdy and it works well.
Now, what do you mean by that?
I have, you can see it. I have top stitched all the way across here at 1/4 inch intervals.
Okay. Right.
And it just makes it really sturdy and it works really, really well for me.
Now, do you use the same? No, that's not the same interfacing that's in here.
This is their light to medium weight interfacing. When I say I'm talking in Pullen numbers now. You can buy them from other companies. But I do believe this is 911 double F. A double F. It's a fusible.
We actually have that.
I bet you do. The exterior of the bag that is stiff, almost like cardboard. It is probably maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. It is 71F. It's a fusible interfacing.
Now that one
or stabilizer.
What? I mean, you're sewing through a lot of layers. So what size needle do you need?
I typically use. There's that typically word again.
This like the science comments. I work in the pharmaceutical field and laughed.
So you're very aware of that word. I use a number 90 jeans needle. I feel I have not done my job if I don't break at least one needle per bag. And it's going to be doing your corners on the bottom here. it gets thick. You have 4 layers of 71F and 4 layers of the thinner interfacings,
Oh my
the
goodness.
stabilizers.
We've got a young mama, Mason Arness. We love Mason. She says, I'm 100% sure this is a need and not a want for
Oh,
this bag.
right.
It has been very popular with the new moms. I've done really well with
So,
it.
Cookie, you've made maybe 4 or 5 of these?
I have made 106 of these since I started keeping count, and this one doesn't have it, but I had a dear friend, Ruth Ann and Charlie, who did a lot of my embroidery for me at Ben Branham's Augusta Sewing Center. My dear friend Ruth Ann has since passed away. I miss her, and I still talk with Charlie, so that's fun. But Charlie came up with a logo, and it says Coco, and we started putting my number of bags on the pockets.
So Coco is your grandma name,
Coco
right?
is my grandmama name. Yes.
Yeah.
So that made it kind of even more special. But this bag here, can I move these over?
So you got a new project in the
I
works.
have a new project in the works.
This is number 107.
7. I have been
Where's your little
working.
card? I mean, whenever you get to the point, I'm going to show it on Instagram.
I'll let you hold.
Okay.
Okay, so today's modern mom, bless her, doesn't want to go fabric shopping with
She
me.
meant love her.
Yeah.
Yes. She really doesn't want to do fabric shopping. So I say, what are you doing the nursery in?
She doesn't want pink gingham. And
No pink, no
Oh.
blue, no, none of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got it. So I asked them
This is
what they're
pretty.
doing the nursery in, and I often get links to Pottery Barn Kids, Bed Bath and Beyond. There's somebody else out there that I can't think of. Bye Bye Baby. So for this one, this is for a young couple that I work with at a company here in North Augusta called Ambio Farm. They have since taken other jobs and moved away, but have a new baby girl. So this will be my gift for them. And she sent me the link. Yes, it's beautiful. And the background is navy blue.
Do an overhead
I'm
for
going to
it.
hold
Okay.
this one up for the.
All right.
for
It is
Instagram.
beautiful. They're so pretty.
So this is navy blue. And we all know that there are, I don't know, at least 1,014 shades of navy blue.
We do know that.
Yes, we do. You get the blue undertones, you get gray undertones, you have yellows. So I did the next best thing. I went to the website and I ordered, what is this thing called? A rail guard. I was unaware that you no longer used bumper pads because they're bad for the baby. Yes. Yeah, I'm way back there. So I purchased this and I unsewed it with my favorite seam ripper. I took that fabric and here I am now constructing a bag.
I love that you did that. That's so creative.
The colors are.
Well,
I
and
know,
they're remarkable.
They're fabulous. So
The
this is the rail guard.
That's the
and
rail guard. Pulled it apart. The interior, it was this pinky, peachy color. So I will be using that for the monogram pocket, which will go on the other large piece that as yet has nothing on it. So I'll just show you the setup here. This is linen. This linen was gifted to me by a dear friend whose grandmama name is Duff. If you're watching, Duff, hi there. I actually put some interfacing on the back of the linen because I know it's going to stretch and move. Now that I have it and I know that I like it, because we of course had to audition all of our fabrics, I will then put the Peltex on it, and this is the thick cardboard like interfacing that I use. And Kay Witt will describe all of this in her book. I didn't think this up all by myself. So we will have the side pocket. This one will be folded in.
Those are the ends. Those are
these
the,
are on the
ends.
These are on the
yeah,
ends.
that.
They will be slightly pleated and pulled together. Then we'll have this and then another end pocket way over here.
Fabulous.
So
Yes.
That's so fabulous.
So really, so this is actually a little wider than the
it
end.
is.
And so you just sew it like this, right?
Mhm.
You
You pitch pleat this one.
So, and you pleat it at the bottom.
pleat
and
it at
then,
the bottom.
Then it has a little bit of room.
A little flare at the top.
Flare at the top.
Mhm. Can I pull this over here?
Yeah.
Can you guys see this side
So
pocket?
it's pleated down here so
Mhm.
that it fits the
So it fits the
piece
6-inch
right here.
panel.
And then this is open. You could put a baby bottle in
Yes,
there
you can.
or something like that.
Now, if you're really creative and you have more time on your hands, or you're just aggravated with this, You could also make this pocket wider, still do the pleat, and put elastic in here. I have not tried that yet.
Oh, right.
But yes, there's a new thought for someone to be
Yeah.
creative. Other fun things. Well, you know, we talked about the shades of navy blue, and here we have a peachy pink.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the next best thing. I ordered a sheet. This is going to be our interior for the bag.
So I'm gonna.
You can. I've already picked it
open it
apart. Please do.
Here.
So
Okay.
this was also ordered from.
This
the
was also
Pottery
ordered
Barn
from the
set.
Pottery Barn. Yes.
That was genius.
Yes, but of course.
I love that.
And just to kind of follow along with the dots and the ditty part, this is actually art gallery fabric. This will be the interior pocket on the inside.
So was this in your stash?
This was
Or
in my
were you able to
stash.
find it? Yeah.
That was my stash.
That does look like something you'd have.
It does.
Yeah. You love art gallery. I know you.
I
use
do
a
love
lot
art.
of
Art gallery has some of the finest. Are they called gray goods before they print them?
Yeah.
They're supple. They have a better
They feel
flow.
good. That's right.
I enjoy quilting cottons. I use them quite a bit, but art gallery does have a little bit better drape
Just
to
a little
them.
more garment.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
So do you have like a number of fabrics you go for? Like, do you have that you always throw in a geometric, or do you have two geometrics? Do you have any kind of method that you're using, or you're just really good at picking out what goes together? And
Oh, let's see. I have 3 closets of fabric. And before Michael Miller decided not to do garden pin dots anymore,
Oh, guess what? They're
coming
they're
back.
coming- that's a good
they're
thing.
coming back.
Well, I
know, I
actually
love the garden
bought
pin
them
dots.
from Sally. Every color that she had, I
Mhm.
bought at least a yard. It is one. I'm checking to see if I have it anywhere.
It's a great
It's a good
blend.
blend.
Of course, I don't
Uh-huh.
have it. I use it for a lot of the accents, whether it's piping, flat bands, bows, any kind of
Mhm,
thing like that.
mhm.
I will also find a geometric. For this, I usually like to use a floral, a geometric, and then anything else is up for grabs.
Mhm,
And I look for color, and I love texture. You will rarely see me use a solid fabric,
mhm.
just not me.
Mhm.
Okay, so but that's what I like.
Like, so you're like a piqué, a corduroy, like that kind of texture?
No, ma'am.
or
I'm
you
just
mean-
talking about when I say texture, I'm looking for movement in the fabric.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
I really want fabrics that
Have a
kind of
life.
move on themselves. And not only that, if you make a horrible mistake, nobody knows.
Oh.
Mhm. The size of this pocket has changed on occasion to suit the bag. If I have a print or there is something that I want to capture on this and we're not going to be doing it embroidery or any kind of monogram, I'll fussy cut it and it may be as tall as up to here.
Mhm,
But I will do whatever I need to suit the fabric to the bag.
mhm.
So that's kind of fun.
Mhm. You're really good at that.
Well, it's just
Right.
The way they live on your dresses, the way they live on your bags. It's
I love it. And when I discovered this, I also discovered this pattern, which is, of course, larger than the original. This is the Zippy Strippy Bag.
I remember that name.
Maybe
Mhm,
Susan Atkins something. This is
Yeah,
that's a
good.
little different one. That one has 2 zippers. But here, this one, I had leftover fabric. You have to remember, this was a kit. So I started to use every bit of fabric they had. This thing is kind of cool.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, over here on that
Yeah, do that. Can y'all see all this mess?
It's
We
full
have
of
a
sewing
cutter. I've
supplies.
got one of these
Mhm.
things.
We're seeing beautiful fabric
Girls
combinations.
cannot live without a glue stick. If you do bags, you own a glue stick. What else do you own? I have a chalk marker because I don't like to erase lines. I will
Mhm.
also use, who has the pins that you can iron off? Friction. I have friction pins.
So is this your travel bag?
This is my
sewing
travel bag. And as you
Uh-huh.
can tell, I just got back. Here's the piping that's on the dress.
Mhm.
But actually, I'm looking for my one really best friend. I have to have this. Here, y'all. Glue tape.
Oh,
I can't live without
is
this
that like Wonder
stuff.
Tape?
It is.
Uh-huh.
This is your double-sided sticky tape that is washable. But when you're doing a bag, you don't need to wash it unless it's just been a really bad day and your child has gotten sick in it. Leave it alone. This will make your life so much easier when it comes to applying piping and bands. I'll just jump out of the way. More importantly, zippers. There is no
Oh.
need to pin a zipper if you're using this tape. I will say that I think I took a class here with Jeannie Baumeister.
Mhm.
Heirloom everywhere. I mentioned the word glue,
Oh,
and
did
she
have a heart
nearly had a
attack?
seizure. You do not use these kinds of things on heirloom garments. However, I cannot recommend them enough for making bags, Zippy Strippy bags. I've been known to use them on play garments, which we have a lot of back here.
Well, this is wash away, so
it is wash away. It should do well.
Yeah,
it really should, but I have not tried it yet.
Jeannie's not listening.
Well, even she is. I hope she laughs because wow, I was like, oh, I would use glue for that. No, you won't. So I said, okay, I'll put my glue away. So I did,
and we'll use it at home.
Well, and I definitely use it at home, and I use it quite a bit.
When I'm just thinking about when you're here in the classes, you've made some really good friends in sewing classes, haven't
guys.
you?
I have some friends that I met from Columbia and Rock Hill that we started getting together and doing our own little sewing retreats. We call ourselves the Sewing Divas, and we had a blast.
That's neat.
So I have made lifelong friends through sewing that probably would not have made otherwise. What I do for my profession is so specialized that I meet nothing but science geeks and nerds. And everyone does something outside of work, and I recognize that, but it's not necessarily this. I had no idea that I would enjoy sewing because I really had not done a lot of it until I moved to Augusta and I discovered Farmhouse Fabrics and started taking classes. And I think I attended most every class y'all did for 2 or 3 years because I was semi-retired at that time, and I had a granddaughter to sew for, and this was just the most fun thing in the world for me.
And wasn't it fun? I'm thinking of Gail Doan's class, but how about Cindy Foose? Cindy, is she not just the most delightful? Oh,
she is. We did a pattern called the Delta dress, and it's one of the other most well-constructed garments I've ever made. And I believe she has it as a sample. I think I turned that over to her.
Yours.
But I had
the one
yes, it has that
zigzag,
and
that's covered in binding.
Yes,
it was. She's very precise on all of her.
That's also an advanced class. So if you're a beginner, think twice about that one.
Right.
By that time, I think Cindy is probably the one who got me into pattern drafting. And I love it. And that's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And my granddaughter has a little different figure than me. I'm kind of up and down and round and no hips. Mia's not that way. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say her name. The granddaughter's not that way. I'll call her M. And so I had to do some pattern alterations for most of her tops and bottoms. She's very long-waisted, so I had to add length. So I was always doing that. And because she was long-waisted, I also had to add length to shorts from crotch to waist.
Oh, yes.
And because she had a little more roundness in her backside than I do, which doesn't really take a lot. We had to make sure that all this would fit. So Cindy gave us this wonderful sheet on taking measurements for people that you're going to sew for. And poor Mia, every time she came to the house, every time M came to the house, I had her downstairs with a tape measure, and we were going through. And because of that, she had some well-fitted little girls' clothes.
Right.
And they worked out beautifully.
Well, Cindy did that for me too with some of my granddaughters, and then she actually sent me like a bodice, a bodice pattern that would fit, and it was a perfect fit. It was great. If you have a chance to take classes from Cindy Foose, Gail Doan, definitely do it. If they're online, definitely do it. If you're there in person, absolutely. So
Sue S says, yes, I do use a glue stick on heirloom.
Oh, Sue, you bad kitty. I know you, Sue.
Using tape for a zipper, awesome, says Jeanette.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It really helps. It's just nice. It keeps everything in place for you. You don't have pins to worry about sewing over. I've broken a few needles sewing over pins because I'm just intent on getting that seam in, and I'm not paying attention to the fact that I have a needle stuck in there.
So do you ever sew with I think I saw you had a clip.
Oh,
do you ever put those instead of pins? Do you ever use clips?
I have,
because I see people do that.
I have 3 boxes of these particular clips. They're called Wonder Clips. Well, I just tore that one up.
I've done that before too.
I don't pay attention to that one. We'll look at the one stuck on Lillian.
Here we go.
I actually had this pocket pinned with these. I use these all the time when I'm making bags.
Oh.
because it will handle. I can
well, plus it's easier than trying to put a pin through.
very
this,
much
isn't
so,
it?
and you will remember to remove this.
Yeah, when you're sewing.
I don't think this would
I
be
thought
sewn
that
over.
when I watch people
Mhm.
even doing their patterns, it's
Mhm.
like you're going to take that off of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with pins, you think if I go a little slowly, I think I can jump
Miss
over
it.
that thing.
Yeah,
and-
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Wonder Clips are fabulous. I use them sewing garments depending on the thickness of the fabric.
Mhm.
If I am lucky enough to sew on Liberty of London Tantalon, I will use either silk pins or some very extra sharp, very fine pins to use for that fabric. I love Liberty of London. I wish I had a reason to use more of it. It is definitely like butter.
It is.
Oh, and speaking of like butter, let's not forget the Sea Island knits.
Oh,
I'm not plugging any one company in particular, but I can tell you that I went through a rash of making Bunny's Knit Nighties, which is the Children's Corner patterns. I think I made 24 knit nighties in a year.
And everyone that
Wow.
received that is thanking you.
And
Yeah.
yes, and I told them, I said, this is the highest quality knit fabric you are
Mhm.
ever going to find.
I
Please enjoy
cut
it.
some in navy today for
Mhm.
somebody, and I thought, man,
It's
forget
fabulous.
how
It's
fabulous
lovely.
this feels. Yeah.
And what I did was I would take the pattern and make it the feature, and I would use different color sleeves. I had stripes, I had some dots and some solids.
Mhm.
And so it gave it a nice look.
And if you're doing 24, it
Mhm.
changes it up
It,
for you
it
too.
definitely changes it up. And I was kind of doing an assembly style. I cut, 4 out at a time using white thread, and I would go ahead. And by the way, that tape we just had, perfect for doing those necklines.
Oh, because no stretching.
No stretching.
Mm-hmm.
So it was wonderful, and it really turned out really, really well.
Apin says, "Hi, Cookie. Your fan club is watching."
Apin, I thought you were on vacation out in the Pacific. You can't be watching this. You're on
If
vacation.
you've ever met Cookie, you'll be part of her fan club. That's really true.
I don't know. I have my moments. I have to tell you, I just spent the weekend with a lot of quilters, and I am so impressed by what they do. They ooh and ah over, the model garments like we have back here. But when I see what they do with those little 1-inch squares of fabric, it is just so impressive to me.
And like the art quilts.
Yes.
It's overwhelming to me.
Very
Like
overwhelming.
Sue,
I'm not that smart.
I can't even think of her last. I shouldn't even say that. Sue, she made clothing patterns first.
Mhm.
Somebody's going to be able to tell me. But that she's into quilting
Mhm.
now. Oh my goodness, her things are beautiful.
I bet they are, because
I thought you were going to say
it's
this
an
is her
art.
name.
No,
Somebody
I'm
else-
thinking.
Somebody will tell me. But she's been published in when it was clothing. She's been published in So Beautiful.
I know who you're speaking
Mhm.
of, and I cannot remember her
It'll
name.
come to me in about.
But
20
she did.
minutes.
She went from doing garments to doing quilts, and
Yes,
they're
and
very
she's
impressive.
won big
Yes.
time prizes with her quilts. They're
Mhm.
fabulous. Well,
So-
what else we have back here? Do you want to
That's
talk about?
exactly I was going to say.
We're going to step to the back.
I see you have
we
this,
can pull something
these
down.
bright, beautiful garments. I love them, and I love your taste. What about the little pantsuit behind you?
Oh my! Can you have
y'all
this
bring
one?
it up
You can bring
here.
that up
Yeah.
here. I'll hang on to it for
All right.
you, and you can
So-
describe it.
The ladies here surprised me with some garments that I haven't seen in a hot minute. This is a pattern by Lindsay Wilkes, who is the cottage mama. This was fabric that these guys had. Remember, I told you I like to pipe things and add stuff. So we have a double ruffle. I believe you still have this.
We
This
do,
kind of
we do.
edging.
Mhm.
My favorite in all the world. And here I've done, gosh darn.
Oh, this is a trim.
It is a
It
trim.
looks like little waves.
Yes.
Almost, doesn't it?
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's
Just-
always fun to see you bring in stuff because we're like, look what you did.
Well,
Yeah.
again, just kind of over the top, but it suits us where we live in North Augusta because we're in a very special place. Almost.
A couple guesses on the Sue. Sue Stewart or Sue Pennington?
They're both the same person. Sue Stewart and
Oh.
Sue Pennington, the same person.
That
Yes,
is who
that's
it is.
Yeah.
She's done beautiful work.
Sue Stewart.
Mhm.
Pennington is her married name.
I think so.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes. Excellent work. Yeah.
But I ran across Lindsay Wilkes and the Cottage Mama again at the Martha Pullen School of Art Fashion.
right.
And
She was there teaching a class.
she
right?
was. And she had this beautiful coat on the wall that was a printed velvet. And I did my darndest to try to get in that class, but I never made it. But I bought her book. I came home and put together quite a few outfits from it. But they're all along this line, very whimsical, very fun.
Mhm.
That is
If you're a
fun.
really tailored, kind of mom, you might not go for this, but the little girls absolutely love it.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
did. They really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember when you made this because we have a picture of Charlie in that.
Yes,
And
you
this
do.
is a Children's Corner
This is the Lillian, and it is from not the newest pattern,
That's
but
our
the one
gallery
right
print,
before
too.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was a kit.
Yes.
You
we
guys
did kit it.
kitted this up.
Yeah.
Well, I think we kitted it after you made
Yeah.
it.
Well, that was after we went walking through the
Well,
store.
because you had the idea and then we kitted it. But how neat this little flash of color right here.
Yes. Other than that, you
That's-
wouldn't see this at all.
Mm.
Right.
And if you want it to blend, you certainly can. I have friends who will, and I've done it myself, that I would fussy cut this so that it picked the pattern up and just kept going.
Man.
But on this one, I did not. I did keep the
You did
houses
it right,
here.
though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my word. And again, piping. I can't say enough
Well-
about piping. And if you own a Bernina, this is done with my number 31 foot 5-groove pin tuck.
That's what I use too.
Love it.
And then turn it around because the navy buttons I think are just right too
Mhm.
on here. Because it makes otherwise everything starts
does.
blending
Honestly,
together.
this dress, anytime I see a print, a house print,
Mhm.
I think of this dress and
thank
I
you.
debate on buying it because
you
I'm
should.
like,
Aw.
it's so,
It did well.
it was great.
Yeah. And we took a picture of Kristen's Charlie,
Which
who's
is-
now
12, and she
12,
was like
exactly.
5 or something. Yeah,
it was
that was
very
fun.
cute on her.
Very
But that
fun.
went
Yeah.
together really well.
I love that.
So, how about your little seersucker short sets? Because those also were one of my. I just love those. Those were so fun.
So Sally gets her
Oh,
seersucker in that is embroidered. So here's what we do. We do Parker's pants 42 different ways. This is Parker's pants. And yes, we have a little bit of rickrack on the bottom. Then we just go look for a top. And I believe this is a Bonnie Blue pattern. And this-
Marcy, maybe. I'm not sure.
I'm
if
not
it's
sure which one it
Marcy or
is, but
Macy or something like
I
Marcy.
used it quite a bit
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah,
because
oh,
it just
and
fit
so
well.
double
It's double-breasted.
double-breasted in the
Mhm.
back. But this style is nice for little kids that struggle a little bit with
In the middle.
fullness right
Mhm.
here. And this has like the princess lines in it.
And it's lovely.
it is.
And it did really
This
well.
would be cute all the way down as a dress.
It would be. But we have the South Carolina half moon or
Yeah.
whatever
Crescent moon.
whatever it's supposed to be, and the
Supposed-
palmetto
supposedly.
tree. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why we did these.
So seersucker, awesome here in this hot
And,
summer
and it's a very
weather.
southern kind of thing.
It is.
And then our other pair,
Oh, this one.
again, we just can't do enough. So we ruffled it. We used,
Oh,
wow,
that's like an organza.
it is.
ribbon.
And here we have a daisy print. So we picked that up in a yellow trellis. We actually have pink rickrack here, and we have a green ribbon. Now, I'm thinking that somewhere the green ribbon bow
There was
is lost.
Yeah, there was probably
Yes.
something right here.
I would say
right?
it was a flat
Mhm.
bow right
Yeah.
here.
Oh, that's so
Isn't that cute?
Yes.
And that was
Adorable.
Claire, the Bonnie Blue.
Is it Claire?
Is it?
Is that what?
Very
Okay.
cute.
So
Thank
much
you.
for- I was way off on that.
No,
one.
you weren't.
I love the crossover front top too. I can remember
Okay.
you bringing that one
Can
in.
you reach it, or
Yes,
we need
I'll
our
grab it.
long-handled
Okay.
reacher?
Now, I don't remember which pattern this was.
Me either. I'm gonna have to look it up.
You
That's
will.
so cute.
But this just fabulous fabric. I love the
Oh,
colors.
this is cute.
Periwinkle, one of my favorites. It's flattering on everyone.
That's
And
interesting. I've never heard that. Now I'm gonna have to.
periwinkle
I've
is
heard
it is
that-
one of those
them
colors.
say
And
that
actually, it's the
For bridesmaids too.
it's the Pantone color of the year this year. It's
Oh, it is.
periwinkle.
Oh,
I think they're calling it Very Perry.
Huh.
I
Mhm.
love that.
If you're like me and you don't want to spend your whole day hand hemming, because I don't, I use my number 5 hem stitch foot and off I go on any play clothes. If it's heirloom, I will take the time to do a beautiful hem. But if not, you're going to find me with my trusted 5 foot
Hey,
and off I
nobody's
go.
gonna notice
Never.
that.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
No.
Mm-mm.
And the whole time you're doing it, you're thinking, I'm gonna be done with
I
this in
love
5
It's
myself.
minutes.
just like this.
Yeah.
Once you get
That's
the
right.
setting ready and your needle position is correct, off
And
you
look
go.
at here, we have an invisible
Visible
zipper.
zipper.
Isn't
And
that
there's an
pretty? That's
invisible
pretty.
zipper foot. Oh
Yeah.
wow, I even matched that.
You did
That's
match it.
frightening.
That-
It
that
is.
looks good.
Mhm.
That looks good. Yes.
So that it was really pretty on too.
So here you would have used that tape for the zipper.
Of
You
course.
tape that zipper on before you sew it.
Yes.
Sally, do you do that also? Do you tape yours?
No.
No, I feel like you did something.
I
last
might
time
have
with the
done it
glue
one
stick.
time. I don't know.
But
what
see,
I did. I
here's the
don't know.
thing. Once you've done some things so much, you don't bother to tape or pin anymore. I'm now notorious for freehanding all my piping. I don't pin it. I don't
Right.
glue it.
I don't either.
I put it on and I just start
Yeah.
sewing.
Yeah. Me too.
It's scary.
I do that.
I do. I'm bad to do that.
All right. Now,
Let me. Can I help
I
you?
know I brought a long-handled reacher down here. What happened to it?
Are we thinking this velvet? Because that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
do it.
I love it.
Let me think. Oh, wow. I loved these. It doesn't matter whether or not Mia loved them. I did. This is a Velveteen. And part of the fun with this one is I did a Hong Kong finish on the
look at
hem
the hem.
because I love this fabric.
That's pretty. So you want to explain what a Hong Kong finish is? Can you do that?
I'm going to zoom in for the
Okay.
overhead so y'all can see it. All right.
It's almost a cheat. You sew on a contrast fabric. Basically, you flip it over so that your edge is no longer raw. And then you pull that back. And with my number 5 foot, I hem away. It is a fabulous
Wow, you
touch.
did that on the machine?
I did that on
looks
the machine.
amazing. Yeah.
Now, if you're going to use a thicker fabric, you'll find, and this is strictly with a Bernina, you'll find that you have to adjust your needle position some because it's meant to take just a tiny bite out of your
Mhm.
fabric. With something this thick, you almost have to go over 2 needle
Mhm.
positions to get it to work
To get it
really
to go
well.
all the way
Mhm.
through.
Yes. So instead of just simply serging it and turning it up, that's what I decided to do.
Is this the Melina
I think it is.
by Children's Corner?
Could be.
Yeah.
And
I know they've got a one with a pleat. So
and I actually,
look at your little
I know we did the binding on the
Wow.
collar,
Let's scoot it up a little bit this way. So we can
and
show
this one
that.
is hand
It can be.
stitched. Yuck.
Do you know the manufacturer of the house print?
Art gallery.
Art gallery.
but it might be long
It's
gone.
auto print.
Yeah, it might be long gone.
Mhm.
That's pretty. With all your piping, all your
All
touches.
piping all over the place.
Yeah.
You know,
Little
covered buttons.
Mhm.
So this is just clicking with me,
Mhm.
but with your profession, you have to be attention to detail, I would assume.
I do have to pay attention to detail, and I have to look at some very tiny things. Microbes in and of themselves. If you see a colony, let's say you're looking at your favorite loaf of bread, and you look down and you see green dots all over it. Well, that's going to be a mold. That mold was hanging out there the whole time you had your bread, but it's had an opportunity to grow. So until you can see it with your naked eye, it's there. You just don't know it. If you're looking at a bacterium, everybody knows the word staph because everybody talks about, MRSA and staph infections. If I were to put that on an agar plate, it's like very hard Jell-O, I would have to have 1 million little cells in order to see it as the head of a pin.
Wow.
So they're
Wow.
very tiny. So I look at
Mhm.
tiny things. So doing this, it's a lot more fun because I'm not required to have a microscope. But at this age, I'm going to need a magnifying glass. I have discovered that about myself recently as I've gotten more and more mature.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I
at
love
work,
that.
we called it
Mature.
vintage. I've just become vintage.
Well, that's just dawning on me. Like, I've known you for a long time now, but I'm like, the attention to detail.
Mhm.
That's what you have. And it's so reflective in your garment.
It is.
And
And,
that-
the bags.
Exactly.
And that's why I try to take time to pick out fabrics because I love fabric. It's just sinful. It really is.
So the next thing on the pile
Mhm.
was created a conversation in Farmhouse Fabrics today.
This one?
Because we said, all right, who made this? And Kristen was like, Cookie Bahr totally made this. And I'm like, I think Connie Palmer made this.
No.
And Chrissy's like, I think Regina made this. And so
This
But
was a class at Children's Corner. Lizette taught it. Is her last name Thomason?
Thomason. Mhm.
Okay, so
Mhm.
Lizette did this. And the thing that intrigued me is we could do it the way that I did it, or there was you could actually smock this. And I'm not really a smocker because I really don't enjoy handwork a lot. So it is, I'm going to say it's pleated on the inside. There's teeny little buttons.
They're cute.
So, and I feel like you verbatim said what I said, but still no one believed me that this was Cookies. She took a class at Children's Corner.
That's exactly
That's
what
exactly
Kristen
what it
said.
Okay, let's
I'm
turn
like,
this inside
I
out
don't
just for a
know
hot
about
minute
that.
because
I'm
I
gonna
see
put it on the
something that we
overhead,
did.
too.
Okay. This is one of my favorite things to do for a free hanging bodice. And don't ask me who taught me this,
I
but
don't know, but
someone
Gail
did.
Doan does this all the time.
Then this
and
would
I
be a Gail
love it. I
Doan
think
thing,
it's a
guys.
Gail Doan technique.
I love it when you
Ooh.
have a free bodice like this one, that you put a little nice edging on it, preferably cotton, so that it does not irritate the child.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so here we go. This is the inside.
Yep. Scoot it down just a little
Okay.
bit this way. Yep. Perfect.
There we go. So
I'll hold it up for you on Instagram in just a second
Okay.
here.
So we've actually glued, you're going to love this, that tiny rickrack on the front, and then you whip stitch
Oh,
around it to hold it in place.
You can see the little whip stitching.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry Gregory says, "Oh my, Cookie, such a talent and creativity. You must have been at the head of the line when the Lord was handing out these talents, and I must have been behind you and none was left. So impressed."
That's very kind. I'm sure the Lord doesn't know what to think about me some days, because I don't.
She's a pretty good-natured person too.
Well, catch
I
me on
can
a good
just
day.
Think about
Can y'all
things
tell
that
we like Cookie?
yeah, we do like Cookie.
It's so nice to have Cookie
Oh,
back here
I
at
don't think I
Farmhouse
need to do
today.
that.
I'm going to show. I'm going
Okay.
to put this so that you can see it on Instagram too, and so you glued the rickrack.
We glued the
on.
rickrack on, and then we did the whip stitch with embroidery floss.
Wow.
Well, don't let anyone say that glue's not for heirloom, because that is an heirloom garment.
Yeah, that
Well,
is.
and here's what we had to do. We took the bodice. We had a template to cut this out. We did all of our work. You had to stitch it back in. Again, piping is used to frame this, the little bitty armband, and the scalloped collar.
Yeah, this is a really sweet sleeve too. I like this sleeve.
I'm thinking this is art gallery. No, maybe not art gallery. It's
It's
Be
a
a Robert
Regent
Kaufman
Street?
lawn,
Regent
or
Street
Regent
lawn.
I bet it's a
Street
Regent
lawn.
Street lawn. So again,
Yeah.
I love lawn. Great stuff to sew. You have your more high end, which is Liberty of London, and then Regent Street came out at a great price point, and they
with,
did some beautiful
United
prints.
Oceans Moda
Mm-hmm.
and
We like to
and-
get every line they have.
Yes.
and
They're so
Robert
pretty.
Kaufman has London Calling,
London Calling, mhm.
and that's the same kind
Exactly.
of weight, really pretty. I mean, I think it's safe to say that you like color.
It is. It's a rare
I'm
thing
looking
that
at a whole lot of pretty colors right here.
you're not going to find a lot of neutrals in my closet.
No
Except,
kidding.
of course, my standard black here. I was telling Sally that before I came over, I put on a blue and white striped top, and I look like a blue and white striped box. So I opted for my fabulous black. Here is,
So what do we have?
Look at that bodice.
this is from a So Beautiful magazine. I don't think it was on the cover. I think it was inside the magazine.
I love this.
My oldest granddaughter was going to a father-daughter dance. I came over here. Sally walked around with me. Everything that you see here is from Farmhouse.
That's beautiful.
It even has, even though she was an older girl, it actually has a tucked hem.
Oh.
How about that?
Oh, it does.
Mhm.
Look at that.
A tucked
yeah.
hem. These were vintage buttons.
So when
Oh,
you're
that's
saying
pretty.
tucked hem, are you meaning like a grow tuck hem?
It is a
Or-
grow tuck
yeah,
hem.
Uh-huh.
But this one is, well,
Just
Because
for
I love-
looks, maybe, right?
this one for her would be just for looks.
Right.
For a little one, it would be for
Uh-huh.
growth, or it used to be.
Kind of neat in the back too,
Mhm.
because it has a yoke in the back,
Mhm.
and that can be accented
Mhm.
with the piping. And
Look,
then
and I
look
even
at the
went for
covered
covered
buttons.
buttons. That's a rare
And they're
thing.
pretty tiny.
Mm-hmm.
They're really cute. But this front, very elegant,
Isn't it? Mhm.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I love that about the grow tuck. Or
That-
the tucked
yeah,
hem. It's the
that-
same.
This,
So
there were some
elegant.
really nice points to this dress, and this is probably the last thing that I made her. She may have been 12 years old,
Mhm.
so it's for her last little fling with her dad,
Oh,
and off they went to dance and dinner.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that. Oh,
So we will hang on to that one.
yeah. Now,
Debbie's got a question about the smock dress. She wants to know how are the pleats staying put? Did you back smock?
I don't think it is back smocked. It is strictly because we have looped
mhm.
the floss in. Let's see if we can flip it back out there. Now, see, if I were not an adventurous girl, I would leave. Can I leave it this way? Or do I need to hold it up?
That's perfect. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no, it's absolutely free.
Mhm.
You
But
have your
there's
row
a-
at the top.
There's definitely enough holding it
Mhm.
together. It's almost like being back smocked by the
Exactly.
time you get your rickrack all the way across all those rows.
You can see this.
Mhm.
All right.
Did you have to draw? You must have had some kind of template to
We
draw
did.
those ovals
did.
and everything on there to make them straight.
Well, we did the best that we could. A couple times we were like drunken sailors and we had to take it out. And then we put it back in, and then she came out pretty good.
I think she did.
Mm-hmm.
Cookie
So
made
it's just
this.
whip stitched.
Cookie made this.
That's amazing.
I knew that, right?
It's amazing.
Oh man, this is cute with this little.
That was.
inset piece.
I don't know if they did this maybe as this is Children's Corner.
Mm-hmm.
They may have done this as a blog later. A lot of times when they had classes, they had patterns that we were basically testing. And then once they were finished, they would make them into commercial patterns.
I'm looking to see what we've missed.
This is
We
one.
have this little guy right here.
Oh, God, you got to do this one.
I know.
Okay, speaking of Liberty, that's definitely a Liberty top. That is Children's Corner.
Ansley, right?
Yes,
Isn't it
and I
Ansley?
love it.
I do too. I made this,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's a discontinued pattern. But
Oh.
it wasn't a skirt with it.
Yes, and this is the one that has the short.
Oh, the short. Oh, cute. But a lot of you are able to find vintage Children's Corner patterns at
Mhm.
yard sales, estate
Mhm.
sales, Etsy, eBay.
Mhm.
This is a beautiful little pattern to make up.
And actually, it doesn't take as much fabric as you would think. So if you do love luxurious cottons and you want to
Mhm.
do a tan lawn, this is the pattern to go to.
Mhm.
I know it's less than a yard. It could be
Yeah, it doesn't
3/4.
take much,
It's
but
not much at all.
I love the little peplum.
Mhm.
Isn't that cute with a peplum?
I have a friend this weekend who made this top,
Mhm.
and she did not put the band on it. It was free hanging.
Oh.
And she also made a really cute pair of shorts. I'm racking my brain, and I think that may have been Oliver and S.
Mhm.
And I could be mixing two
They
different
had
patterns.
some cute shorts.
Mhm.
Did they have a little? Were they poofy with a little band?
No,
on them?
these
I
were
don't know.
actually the straight ones. They had a band coming up
Oh.
both sides.
Oh,
It was
okay.
cool. They were cool
Cute.
looking.
Something that you tell a short pattern.
Very similar to
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
I've made those.
Yeah.
That's what I told her. I've made a pair similar to
Mhm.
that. But this,
Well, tell me
not
what we
beautiful.
have right here.
okay, this is a different style zippy bag. Oh, look, feet.
Sewing machine feet.
Yeah, see, this is what you tote around. Sewing machine feet all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what's in here.
I wonder why that bag's so heavy.
And a straight stitch plate. For those of you who like to sew, a nice 1/4 inch stitch.
Mhm.
Sometimes if you use a straight stitch plate and your 1/4 inch foot, it works out so much better. If you're using a very fine lawn, I would recommend that you use a straight stitch plate so that the feed dogs and your bobbin
Mhm.
case don't eat your fabric.
Mhm.
You know, if you ever get your fabric stuck up under there,
Mhm.
it's not a whole lot of fun. Okay, back to this.
Yeah,
This
well,
is-
that's good advice.
Oh, yeah, I've learned a lot over the years. So
I wanna
here we
cut
are.
This out too.
Okay, that one's hilarious. So this guy here is a different pattern. I can't remember who it was. I saw it made up as a sample, and I still had scraps from my multitasker bag. So off I went to the races. And the extra thing I had to add is I was completely out of polka dot. So here we go. I had to find a different polka dot.
Oh, it's cute
Was
though.
it perfect?
It works.
And it worked out
Perfect
well.
color.
I mean, I was down to nothing but a scrap to make the band for the pocket. This was the interior of the big bag. So that it just
I
came out
love
really
your
well.
little tassels.
This is something that I do now with all of my bags. We used to buy the oh yeah, this one's really faded. But see,
Mhm,
this little
mhm,
accent here.
mhm.
You can also buy charms. You can
Right.
do the little tassels.
Did you make these?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think they're from China.
Oh.
Yeah. But
But they're the perfect color.
they are. And they come in a wide range of colors. They feel like suede, but they probably are not. They're probably some kind of manufactured
Mhm.
something or other. But, you know, I started mixing other fabrics so I could use up the last scraps from the big bag.
Do you have that sense of accomplishment when every
I do.
little piece is gone?
I do, but I don't know. What is it about those of us who sew? There are those people that are of the school of thought, I'm going to sew it, cut it, and I'm going to throw it in the trash can. And I'm going to sew it and cut it, and I'm going to put it in a pile. And I'm going to look at it for 10 years. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to look at it. I have
There is
several.
a different. Those are two very real and different people.
But do you find the same thing? Do you keep your scraps or do you toss them?
Well, I tend to keep them.
I keep mine.
Mhm.
It's sad.
But I mean, sometimes I'll be cutting things out here on this table, and and I start throwing them away, and then I'm
Mhm.
thinking, that's a pretty big piece. Then I pull it back out.
Applique,
Yeah,
piping,
covered buttons.
covered buttons,
Mhm.
bands.
Mhm.
Any piece of Liberty that you
Oh
ever
yes, you
touched?
keep
yeah.
Liberty forever.
That's right.
Definitely. every
You
little
learn how to do a
piece.
scrappy quilt with
Yeah.
Liberty. You just do. It's just luscious fabric.
Well, tell me what you have here. What's your scrapbook?
Okay, Sally, let me grab one thing.
Okay. Okay.
Ladies and gents, if you really want to know what started it all for me, it was this bag,
Oh.
and it was called the Gotta Have It bag. This is probably 20 years old, guys.
Great
gals.
shape.
She's been beat up, thrown upon. Let's see if this is removable. This is one that we actually made. This actually feels like cardboard. Nowadays, I would use that 7-Eleven, I'm sorry, the 71F stabilizer
Oh, the
interfacing, the heavy duty stuff here.
Mhm.
Or you can spend more money, $10 or $15, and you can buy an acrylic piece that's cut like this.
Mhm.
Well, this is back in the day before all that stuff started. So here you go. That's that. Now I'm laughing. I'm looking at the inside. And back in the day when you're just getting started, and you don't have piping and you don't have rickrack, oh my gosh, you start using your decorative stitches.
That's right.
See, this was even happening 20 years ago. Isn't that
Actually,
funny?
it's still cute on there.
It is cute.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Oh, yes, and I even did it here. Yes, look at me being ultra
Mhm,
creative,
mhm.
guys.
That's right.
That's just sad, isn't it?
I don't think so.
And this is the webbing that
Oh,
people
yeah.
still use.
Yeah.
Some people take this webbing covered in fabric and they use it for the multitasker bag.
Oh,
If you do
right.
that, remember about your rectangles on the side.
Uh-huh.
Make sure they're smaller
Yeah.
so that will work. So this
Right.
first bag 20 years ago, I think Peggy Williams taught this at Branham's. Okay, so that's where it started.
Wow. That's in Augusta.
That is in Augusta.
And now known as Augusta Sewing Center.
Exactly. Now, face this to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I had friends who knew that I loved to make bags. So here's what I did. Let me open this up. Check this out. I don't know the date on it, but these were called Twixie Bags. And you can see I took the large bag that was here, and being that science person that I am, I made a medium-sized bag and a mini. I'm looking on here. The trendy tote, I wish I had one of those because that one went over well. The fancy bag, that was not a lot of fun to make, but I made it anyway. I had a tofu tote, and that one was kind of fancy. So this is also when I had that scrapbooking moment in my life. So here are my Gotta Have It bags.
Wow.
Can you see these? This was a special order.
I'm going to tip it a little bit so they can see it
Okay,
on
lovely.
Instagram.
Let's see what we have here.
Wow.
Your scrapbooking moment.
Yes, this was my
Look at that.
scrapbooking moment. Isn't this funny?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a walk down memory lane. This is flannel.
Did you make you made bags out of flannel, or
I
was that
did.
maybe a lining?
That's the entire bag.
Oh yeah,
there she is.
I see it.
For those, I have a sense of humor. We have watermelon seeds and ants, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who does watermelon makes them like that. These are large bags. Obviously, cat fan. 2 little girls, sisters.
Oh,
Isn't that fun?
yeah.
I have progressed.
Oh,
Mhm.
ballerina.
I have progressed quite a bit. Here we have the ballerina, and I've actually done another ballerina bag, but in the multitasker. Extremely bright for a set of sisters.
Cute.
Tennis. I made that for Mary Ellen.
She's a big tennis player.
I am.
Mhm.
Well, I like to play tennis.
Yeah.
I'm not that good. But I do go outside and run around and act foolish and burn calories. I'll flip through these. Chicken. See, I get to do fun things. Mice.
So you're a cat person too. Are you a cat
I am.
person?
I am also a dog person. Unfortunately, my husband is allergic to dogs.
Oh,
I would
but
have
not
to.
cats.
He's allergic to cats now. We just don't talk about it.
Oh,
Yes. Mardi Gras for whatever reason. We
Right.
have some pumpkin bags. Almost finished. I don't want to bore y'all to death. Christmas.
wow.
Mhm. This one is fairly elegant. See? Gold trim.
And she usually looked for just the right big button to go on.
Yes.
I remember that.
I'm a button full and
And then we
piping
had-
full.
Ball teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And right there at the end,
Wow.
Florida State and a Clemson.
Wow.
So I guess I did these for a good 5 years and just had a blast doing them. Not
Do
yes.
Do you wash your bags?
I have washed the Gotta Have It bag. I have not washed this one. Now I am going to get brave one day and put this one in the washing machine after I make another one. I have had, I know you can spot clean them and they do really, really well, but I'm not sure how she will do. This girl, I think, has been through the washing machine because I beat her to death. She's a good one. But
Well, what fun. This is
it's always fun.
Oh my goodness, Cookie.
It's a walk down memory lane.
Yes, no kidding.
I like it.
Well,
They want to know what that cross bodice dress is.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I believe it's on our gallery of garments section.
I think it will
Okay.
be.
we might have to figure it out.
We will.
A couple of them posted Pascal dress. Is that for that one, or they're talking about something else?
I don't think that's the Pascal, is it?
I don't think it is. I'm trying to think. It's going to be the company that. Yes, I'm going to say this out loud.
One said Juliet.
That
No.
sounds familiar.
No, that sounds
That sounds
familiar.
very familiar. Yes,
We'll get back to you.
that does sound familiar.
It was a newer pattern company when we did it, or new to us.
Mhm.
It wasn't a Children's Corner. It wasn't Lindsay Wilkes. It's not Bonnie Blue.
It's online. I'm going to be able
It
to
is.
find it and
All
let y'all
right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Cookie, we had people submit their names for a drawing, and unless you draw a name and
I'll
see
do
who
that.
our winner is.
Who gave me the most money?
So look at this cute stuff. This is
Oh!
nice and bright. So this was in the drawing. There are all kinds of little seersuckers, and there's some little trims in there. And
Oh, lovely.
so yeah, isn't that fun?
Check it out.
Isn't that
Lots
fun?
of color.
I know. That's
Can
what
be
I thought
used
when
for
I looked at
everything.
all the colors.
Okay.
Okay. So in here we have a winner.
Oh, wow.
So we're gonna let you
All right.
reach in here and draw out a winner.
I'm going to go right to the middle.
Oh, Cheryl Ippolito.
Ippolito?
Ippolito. Cheryl. And that's great. So she said, I love the plaid seersucker, such pretty colors. Thank you, Cheryl. And Cheryl is the winner.
And congratulations.
All right. Yeah. And so,
All right, we got to do this again. This was fun.
oh, no kidding.
Thank you, Cookie.
You got to
Look,
go
thank
into
y'all.
Luther's closet.
Yeah, I'll go back to Luther's closet and drag some more stuff out.
She sent us an email and said she was going to look in Luther's closet, but we haven't figured out what she was actually writing. And
And I don't know what
Yeah.
I was writing that spell check decided it needed to be
that's
Luther.
right.
Okay, I've got that pattern. It
Oh.
is the Lily by Olive and Designs.
Oh, there you go. Olive Ann Designs. We used a lot of patterns by
Yes, we
Olive Ann
did.
Designs.
I did one that had long sleeves. It was pink and gray floral, and we used your gray and white pre-ruffled trim.
Are we right? That's right, right?
It has to
Oh,
be.
You don't have to show me.
Yeah, that it
I
has to
believe
be.
you. I believe you. All
Is
right,
that-
everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
And to
y'all.
Cookie, thank you for coming.
I
So-
appreciate y'all asking me. It's
Oh,
been a lot of
man.
fun.
It really has been fun. And I know Cookie has a lot of fans out there that have been watching. And so do your little wave for them.
Until next time, y'all.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
Y'all have a great afternoon.